Hello and welcome back to Stardew Valley cross stitch tutorial. This is part 2, cross stitch basics. In the last video, I showed you guys how I designed my pattern in GIMP and used floss cross to generate the pattern and colors. And in this video, I'll show you how to get started with stitching your project. First thing that you're going to need is a piece of Ada cloth that's larger than your hoop. Now, one trick for knowing where to start in the pattern is to start by folding the Ada cloth in half lengthwise like this, so we get a nice crease down the middle. Now mine is not quite cut straight, as you'll see, it doesn't quite line up right, but then we want to go the other way as well and make a crease down the middle, and that way when we open it up we can see clearly that this is the center of the fabric. So I'm going to make sure my hoop here is nice and loose by unscrewing the little screw at the top and place my fabric over the smaller of the two hoops, which goes on the bottom. I'm going to try to roughly center that middle and push the larger hoop over the smaller one. Then we're going to tighten the screw a little bit and kind of tug on the edges of the fabric just to make sure that everything is nice and snug. And then we basically want to tighten it as tight as it can go. So our next step is going to be to get our thread ready. I am looking at my pattern on the iPad here, and I see that this arrow at the top indicates the center of the pattern, and this on the side, the center line going the other way. So I'm going to start with this brown outline that kind of goes right through the middle, and so I'm going to get my brown thread ready. Embroidery floss usually comes in a little skein like this, and we're just going to find the end, and I'm going to hold it with my fingers and pull and measure a little bit more than the length of my elbow, and we're going to cut it. And then from here you can see there are 6 strands here, and we just want one of them. So I'm going to separate one of them, and while I'm lightly pinching the rest of the strands, I'm going to just pull it out. And you can kind of see the thread gathering here at my fingers. That's okay. I'll pull it all the way out, and then the ones that are left over, you can just straighten them back out. It's just fine. Now that we have our thread, we again want to make sure those two ends are aligned, and we're going to work on threading our needle. So to thread the needle, you can kind of hold it like this and try to get both ends through the eye of the needle. I tend to find it a little bit easier if I make a tiny loop at the top, and then I thread that loop through the eye of the needle. You could also use a needle threader. It's kind of up to you. Okay, so you can kind of see I'm getting it through the end of the needle. I'm just going to kind of catch the loop and pull it all the way through. And we are ready to get started. I'm going to pull up my pattern again on my iPad. So my goal here is going to be to start with this center brown dot at the bottom of this like little speech bubble, heart bubble type of thing. So I see here is the horizontal line going, yeah, horizontal. And then I'm going to count how many squares it is from the stitch that I want to do to the line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be 10 stitches up. So I'm going to take a look at my work here, and here is my center line. This is the one I'm going to be stitching onto, and then the horizontal line. So I want to go 10 stitches from about the point where they meet. I want to go 10 stitches up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is where we're going to start. You can kind of see each cross stitch is going to be made up of 4 points. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Our stitch is going to be right here. Now when you're starting with your very first stitch using this method where the thread is looped, oh my gosh, I lost it. You're going to go in from the front. During the rest of the time of the project, unless you're starting a new thread, you would normally not necessarily do that. I'm going to leave a little bit of the loop sticking out, and I want to go bring my needle back up through this upper right corner of the box, and then I'm going to take my needle and we're going to thread it through this loop, sort of create a little bit of a slip knot. And now on the front of the project, that doesn't look super nice, but what we can do is use our needle and go back through the hole we just came in, and this will sort of pull the slip knot part to the back of the fabric. Now to complete our cross stitch, we are going to go into the bottom right corner and then up to the left top corner. And then looking at my pattern, if I go to my left here, I want to be 1 square over. So I'm going to go again from the bottom left corner of the next stitch to the top right. And then from the bottom right to the top. And we're going to keep going like that, following the pattern, making each of those brown boxes around the shape of the heart. For a cross stitch, for this pattern in particular, I like to do sort of one element at a time. So I'm going to finish the heart bubble first. When working in a vertical column, you're going to need to do your stitches. Oops. One stroke at a time. So instead of making the cross stitches, we're just going to do the bottom left to top right. Oops. And this column is 5 stitches tall, so we're going to go up 5, continuing to make half the cross stitch, and then when we get to the top, we okay. We can go back down our column, making the crosses. Now, rather than jumping back to the top, I noticed that I'm starting to get a little bit short on my thread, so I'm just going to finish this piece of thread off by running it under the stitches in the back. I don't want to go through the fabric. I'm going to tuck under each of these stitches of floss, going the same direction, and that will be adequate to secure my thread. Thanks for watching my video. I had a lot of fun making this tutorial. I hope you enjoy making your project. Happy making!